Naji here, welcome to my YouTube channel. In this video, we are going to discuss about AWS Bedrock. Okay, so let's see what all things we are going to discuss in this video. So we will be discussing on AWS Bedrock and introduction to AWS Bedrock. Okay, how it is implemented or like its features and all those things that we can discuss. Then we will be creating an IAM user, okay, with Bedrock permission, so which can be used in our project. Then we will be doing a practical session with Python. So we are creating two versions of the project. Okay, one is with streaming. Okay, so we will be able to stream the data. Then another one is without streaming. Okay, so these are the two versions of project that we are going to discuss in this video. Okay, or we are going to create two project with streaming and without streaming. Okay. Now, what is AWS Bedrock? Okay, so we can see. So let me go to their site aws.amazon.com. Let me sign into the console. Okay, so I already have an account. Now we can go to Amazon Bedrock. So here they are saying that the easiest way to build and scale generative AI applications with foundation models. Okay, so that is that means like they are providing a lot of foundation models or LLM models we can easily integrate with our applications. So here they are mentioning the challenge. Okay, I mean they are mentioning about the benefit, that is accelerate development of generative AI application using foundation models through an API without managing the infrastructure. So this is the one of the key benefit. So whenever we are using any open source LLMs, we have to maintain the infrastructure, right? So usually the infrastructure, we need the high configuration GPU machines, which is very costly, right? And yeah, if we are not using this particular LLMs, we have to pay for the infrastructure. Okay, so AWS is actually giving these foundation models, and they only charging based on our usage, and we don't need to manage any infrastructure. And the basic use cases, that is text generation, chatbot search, text summarization, and text summarization, image generation, and personalization. Okay, so these are the few use cases, and these are the few foundation models, that is Jurassic 2, Cloud, and Stable Diffusion, Llama, Amazon Titan, and the Command. Okay, these are the few LLM models that is available with AWS Bedrock. Okay, so we can just click on try Bedrock. Okay, so here we can see the foundation models. Okay, and yeah, these are the few this we can go in depth. Okay, so here we can have an option to do Q&A, and yeah, so these are the basic providers. Okay, Amazon, Anthropic, and Mistral. These are the few few providers, and we can see the few base models here. Okay, and the custom models we can have, and there are another option to import the model. So these are the playground in which like we will able to play with our models. Okay, so for chat, for text, and for image. Okay, so these are the few options that we can do some kind of a trial and error from here. We can select our model, and we can do all those, I mean we can do some of the trial activities before going to the actual implementation. So there are a few safeguard methods are there, they are providing. Okay, then these are the knowledge base that we can have. Okay, okay, so this is the one thing that we need to discuss, model access. Okay, so let me click on this model access. Okay, so here they are listing all the models that AWS Bedrock is providing. Okay, so by default none of them are in a access granted state. Okay, the state is like available on request. Okay, so if we want to use this, okay, we have to request for the specific model. Okay, so once we requested, maybe after couple of minutes they will give the access to use that particular model. Okay, so one thing you have to ensure that we need to attach a valid credit card with us, then only they will give proper what we call the access, proper access to the models. Okay, so let's see how can we access this. For that, maybe I got few access, so let me click on the modify model access. Now maybe I can ask to give me access to the Titan. Okay, so I have selected it. Okay, there should be some button to submit, right? Okay, let me click on the next here at the bottom, and this is the request access. Now let me click on select. Okay, so Titan, immediately I got the access. Okay, so in some cases I may have to wait for 5 minutes, but in this case I got access at that moment itself. Okay, maybe it's Amazon, that may be the result. Okay, anyway, that is the basic details about Amazon Bedrock. Now we can just see how this playground work. Okay, so let me go to the chat, and here I can select one of the model that I got permission. So let me select the Mistral. Now write a prompt and shift enter to generate. So here maybe I can say that hi. Let me see how it will respond. Hello, how can I help you today? If you have any questions, okay. Maybe I can ask what do you call it? What is AWS Bedrock? I'm not sure it knows about it. Anyway, we can ask this. Okay, it's giving some of the information about AWS Bedrock. Okay, and here we can adjust the parameters. Okay, so we can play with this model, and also like we can upload our knowledge base, then we can play around this, and once we have the optimum values, then we can directly use this with our project. Okay. So this is a basic introduction about Bedrock. Now we can go to our next agenda. We can see like how can we implement this in our project. For that, we need to have a user, okay, which will have access to this Amazon Bedrock. So for that, let me search for IAM. Okay, so this is my IAM. Now click on users, click on create user. Here we are going to create a Bedrock v1. Okay, now just I don't need any console access, so I just click on the next. Here attach policy, search for Bedrock. So I'm going to give the full access. Okay, we don't need to give that full access, we can give the maybe read only access also. Now click on next. Okay, here we can create user. Okay. So this is my user. So click on the user, then go to security credential. Here we can create access key. Okay. So just put on the local code. Sorry, let's put on the local code. Now accept the conditions. Now create access key. So this is now let me download it, otherwise I may lose it. Okay, so I have downloaded, and this is my access key and this is my secret key. Okay, so once we have that, okay, we can go to our Visual Studio Code. Okay, so here I have done some kind of a thing. Okay, what I have done, I have created a Conda environment. Okay, so with Python 3.11, and yeah, so that's it. Now also like I have created a Git repo. So here I can name it as AWS Bedrock.py. Okay, so before that, let me create a requirement file. Requirement.txt can be created here. here we can run Boto3 requirement. So we will be using Boto3 to connect with what we call AWS. Okay. Now let me save this, and we can run pip install -r requirement.txt. So this will install necessary requirement for our AWS Bedrock. Now, okay, it's downloading. Good. So in between, let me show you guys one more slide. Okay, the slide is not completed. Okay, so what is our steps that we are going to do in our project? Okay, so that is, first is we need to create a IAM user. This is done. Now we will be doing the Boto3 installations. Then we will be creating a input prompt and the necessary configuration. Then we will be invoking the model. Okay, these are the 4 to 5 steps that we are going to follow. This is very simple. Now we can do some of the import. We can import Boto3. Okay. Maybe I can check this is successfully installed. Okay, no need to worry about that spelling. Okay. I can type AWS Bedrock. Okay, the import is fine. Good. Now we can import the JSON also. This is also needed. Okay. Now we need to set up few things. One is we need to set the content. Content is application/JSON. Okay, now we need to have a access. This is also same, application/JSON. Okay. Now we can have our model ID. Okay. Here I am going to use a Mistral model ID. Okay, so for that I need to get the model ID. So let me go to again Bedrock. We need to get the model ID, which model that we are going to use. Somehow I love Mistral, so we will go with Mistral. Okay, you can use any model ID, so only there is no much change with any model. Okay, let me see the Mistral. I'm checking for Mistral. Okay, so this is the Mistral. Let me see, I have the permission for Mistral. Okay, so this is the Mistral model that I am going to use. So let me copy this and where is my code? Okay, this is my code. Okay, I'm going to. Okay. So we have our model IDs there. Okay. Now we can create a client. So this is Boto3.client. Okay, here we need to specify this which service that we are going to use. Okay, the service name is we are going to use Bedrock runtime. Okay, so this is the Bedrock that service that we are going to use. Now we can specify the region name. My region name is US East 1. You can check your region. Okay, so here if you go here you will able to see the region that you have selected. Okay, mine is US East 1. Okay, you guys can check like your region. Okay, now we need to specify our what we call the AWS access key ID. Okay, so we can see that we have already downloaded the access key ID. So let me, okay, I have changed that. Let me check the access key ID. Okay, so this is my access key ID. Let me try to open this one. Okay, so this is my key. Let me copy this. I am pasting it here. Now we need to give AWS secret key. Secret access key. So here we can have our secret access key. Let me copy this and I can paste it here. Okay, so this is my secret key and this is my access key. This can be in our environment, and usually like what we will do, we will put this into our environment and we will fetch it from there. Okay, and ensure that you guys are creating your own access key and the secret key. I will be deleting this after creating this video. I will be deleting these keys. Okay, so our client is ready. Now next is we need to have a prompt. So let me add a prompt here. I can say that describe about AWS Bedrock in a single sentence. Okay. Now we need to format this prompt as the LLM needed. Okay, so the format is all those things we will get it from the documentation. Okay, so for INST, and here we will be passing the prompt. Here we will be closing the prompt. So this is our formatted prompt. Now we can have our configurations. Okay, I can set a configuration here, request config. Okay, so this should be in a JSON format. Here I can set the temperature. So the configuration means you guys have seen this in the chat window. We discussed that, right? Open in a playground. Let me open. See this kind of a configuration, right? So all those configuration can be sent to our model. Okay, so once we reach, after doing some play around with that configurations, we can finalize the configuration and we can send that to the model. Okay, so here the temperature I have set as a 0.5. okay, it's a random selection. Now I can set my prompt. So my prompt is a formatted prompt. Now I can set the max tokens. So max tokens will be 512. Now we can convert this into JSON dot. We can dump into JSON dumps. Okay. Now we can have a request conf. So we are ready with all our configurations. Okay. Now we can call the response. We have our client dot invoke model. Invoke model is a method that we are going to use. Okay, here we can specify our model ID. So model ID already we have mentioned this. Now we can have our body is also defined. Now we can also have our accept, and we have our content type, so which will be our content. Now let's print the response. We can see what will happen with the response. Okay, now I'm going to execute this Python that file. So here we can see, is it an error or response? I'm not sure. Seems to be error. Okay, something went wrong. We can check this. Something went wrong here. Boto3 exception, unknown service, Bedrock. Okay, this service is unknown. That is because its spelling is wrong. It should be Bedrock, ROCK, Bedrock. Okay. Now let me run again. Okay, now we have our result is there. Okay, here we will have a response meta. Here we have a HTTP status code, and this is our body. Okay. So what we can do, first let me comment this code. We don't need this one anymore. Here I can check if response. Okay, we will have a response metadata. Response metadata. I want to ensure that the spelling is correct. I can take response data, then HTTPS status code. Okay, we can check the status code. That is HTTPS status code. If this is equal to 200, which means we are in a success. Okay. Now we need to read it. Okay, so we have the response body, so we can ask for body. Now we can read it. Okay. Now let me run it again. Okay, something is missing here. HTTPS status code key error. They are saying it's not HTTPS, it is HTTP status code. Yeah. Okay, now we are not printing this. Okay, so let me print the result. So I want to show you guys like how step by step we are getting the result. Okay, otherwise I may able to directly write the exact code. Okay, so here we can see that we will have our we will have our output. Okay, within that we will have a text. Okay, so what I am going to do, okay, I am going to do a JSON.load. Okay, I'm going to do JSON.load, then I'm going to take outputs to get the exact one. Okay, now we will have the 0, then we can have our text. Let me close this. I'm executing it again. Okay, now we are getting the exact result. AWS Bedrock is an open source modular operating system for building, deploying and managing all those things in a single sentence they are providing. Okay, so so this is how we implement the Bedrock without any streaming functionality. Okay, so here we are not any streaming, right? We are getting the entire output in a single response. Okay, and which is very simple. What we have done, we have selected, we have enabled the model, we have created the Boto client, set the prompt configuration, then invoke the model. Okay, now we can do the streaming part, which will be very simple. I can say that streaming.py. Okay, very similar to this code. So for that, let me copy this code. Okay, let me paste it to save some time. Okay, now what I need to do for the streaming part, invoke model. Okay, here just need to change invoke model with response stream, right? So this is only thing that we need to, this is the one thing that we need to change. Now let me delete this. Okay, now what we can do, let me print it. So once we have in the streaming data, I can have a response. Within that we will have the body. Okay, this similar way I can load it as a chunk. Here I can say that JSON dot loads. here we will have the small bytes of chunk. Okay, and in that, if we have the outputs, we can print the same thing. So this is the same way. So we took the output and let me write it. So in the earlier case, what we have done, we got the entire output, then we are taking the output.0.text, right? So here we are getting is at the chunks, okay, and we are checking if the output is there, okay. So in the result, if the output is there, what we will doing, we will be taking the chunks similar way. We will taking the output, then we are taking the 0, then we are taking the text. Okay, now maybe let me add end equal to. Okay, now I can simply run this. For that I can run Python, what is the name, AWS Bedrock streaming.py. So here it's actually streaming. Maybe in between I can print a test just to differentiate it if it is coming as each loop. See, we can see that it is coming in between, it is printing the test, right? See this. So it is printing as a chunks, okay, but since it's in a single loop, we are not able to differentiate that. So this is how we implement the streaming also. So if we are implementing a REST API thing, okay, we can stream the data to the client side. So it will be in the client side, the HTML code, it will be streaming the data just like ChatGPT, okay. So in ChatGPT we know that it is streaming the data, right? In the same way we will able to implement this. Okay. Yep, I think it seems to be a little bit long video, but I believe I have covered the basic details with respect to Bedrock and the Bedrock streaming and everything. And I will be committing this code to the GitHub. You guys can use it and ensure that you are creating your own AWS access key and the secret key. Okay. That's it. And in next video we will be discussing about how can we integrate, how can we work LangChain and the AWS Bedrock together. Okay, so we will be discussing one example with respect to that. Yep, so that's it. So please do like and subscribe. Have a nice day. Bye bye.